Back to Look Up TV. My name is Simba Elijah Charles Kiage. This is the Morning Drift. We are online at Look Up TV across all your social media platforms. I am at Kiage Simba. All right, let's talk about what it is that we're going to talk about right here, right now, is about women in business. It's a particular topic that I'm interested in because it's one majority of developing economies within the Central and East African region are essentially recognizing the role of women within the economy. Right here in the country, we are still struggling to make numbers of top businesses that are run and driven by women, but doesn't mean that there are entrepreneurs, that there are no entrepreneurs, within the country that are making headlines everywhere you turn. So that's why it makes me happy then, every time I sit down to have conversations about women in business, to have women entrepreneurs really talking about how they've risen within ranks just to fill that space for having women-led businesses that are global. That's still an area that we need to fix, and hopefully as an economy we are going to fix it. For the next couple minutes then, let's introduce a woman in business. I'm going to introduce her like that this morning just for the sake of our topic. I'm going to introduce Wangeshi, let me just get that name right, Warui, who is the CEO Bright Steps, but she just came in as the CEO Bright Steps. She comes in a different fashions as well. So I'm going to take a seat back, even as we talk about the issues around women businesses in the country and her business as well. We are going to look at her in general. Wangeshi, how are you doing?
I'm very fine, Simba.
Happy to have you around.
Thank you very much.
Here's the thing, and I'm going to start from this perspective. Every time I see women in business, women in politics, women in engineering, women in something, it's both a hot and cold feeling. I keep on saying, why aren't we moving away from women in business to just people in business? Why aren't we moving away from women engineers to just engineers? Why are we not moving away from doctors to doctors as opposed to women doctors, women lawyers? It's a thing that I've struggled with, knowing very well where it comes from. So from where you come from this morning, are you comfortable for us to essentially even have a chat about women in business?
The answer is simple.
Yes.
You know, sometimes back people used to think women are the weak sex, sorry to say.
Yes.
But with time, a girl child has been empowered.
Yes.
And that's why you find the things that people used to believe are done by men, women now have come up so well and they are doing. And that's why you hear this slogan, I say, what a man can do, a woman can do it better.
Yes.
So as we are talking today, I want to say, right now we do not say this is for men, this is for women. Women can do anything that men are doing.
Yeah.
So me, I'm comfortable when you say that, because we want to talk to that woman who is down there who thinks I cannot be a mechanic because mechanics are men.
Yes.
I cannot do this because this is what men are doing.
That's
so that we can tell them whatever men are doing, women can also do it better.
Yes.
For example, what we are going to discuss today, Wangeshi Warui in car hire business.
Yes.
People used to think a woman cannot run a car hire because of the risks involved, the things that happens.
Complexity about understanding cars, you know.
But now Wangeshi has come in as a conquered.
Yes.
Yes.
Pretty
and she
much.
has the biggest car hire in town. So
Pretty
it's
much.
possible.
Yes.
And not only car hire, many other things that we are going to discuss. So when we talk about women in business, we are trying to tell women that there is no business which can be classified as this one is for men, this one is for women.
Yes.
So we want to tell women that whatever men are doing, women can even do it better. Trust me.
That's it.
And we are talking from experience, the car hire business.
That's it.
Yes.
So let's start from that fashion then, the car hire business, because you're the CEO of, let me just get that.
Bright Steps.
Bright Steps,
Investment,
which
yes.
is a car hire company.
Yes.
And I do have your website as well. We're going to talk about this shortly when we get into that. How did you end up in car hire business for somebody whose origin is essentially tax consultancy? Let's begin from that.
By profession, I'm an accountant
Oh, yeah.
and I'm a tax consultant. Actually, I have an audit firm.
Yes.
But then, apart from that professional business, that's when I have so many other businesses. But you asked about how did I come into the car hire business.
Yes.
Let me tell you something, Simba. From the beginning, I'm one person who believed that I'm destined for greatness. And I believed the future is bright for me. So when you hear bright steps, it is because I decided it is a step at a time. I will be making a step every now and then, and not just a step, but bright steps. So when I was in college, I was doing my accountancy. I was in accountancy college. I was doing my CPA, Certified Public Account. That's what I was doing, and I was also doing my degree. I did them together. So when I was doing that, I'm one person who is very good with numbers. I love working with numbers. So my foster dad, who they brought me up, I was an adopted child.
Yes.
He was also an accountant. So he used to encourage me much. I wanted to be a lawyer, but he encouraged me to be an accountant.
Yes.
And he told me, you can never feed the market. If you go to farmers, they need accountants. If you go everywhere, they need accountants. So he encouraged me to
I know
be
what
one.
your argument was. They also need lawyers, you know.
You know, my dad was like, you can be a very good lawyer. And now I'm also a tax lawyer. Let me say I'm doing it. But his argument was, Wangeshi, lawyers sijui are liars, lawyers are this, because he was very, very spiritual. So I'm like, and you are very good with numbers. Nakaniambia, he told me, lawyers are very not good with numbers, but I can see you can do it better. So that's how I ended up going to accountancy college, then did my BCom. Then when I was in college, Wangeshi has a go-getter spirit, and she believes once you see an opportunity, you should grab it and run with it. So when I was in college, I could see the lecturers come supervise our exams, go mark our exams. So I approached one and I told him, why can't you just give me the marking scheme? I help you mark. Then he tells me, you cannot mark where you are in the same class, but I will give you for the lower classes. So Wangeshi started earning. So he gives me the marking scheme, gives me the papers, and starts marking. So when I was in college, I developed a very big interest in taxation. I loved taxation. So I approached our lecturer for taxation. He's my great mentor, but may his soul rest in peace. He passed with corona. So we sat down with him and I told him where my interest was. So by the time I was finishing college, I was given a special revision classes where the ones who failed want to come for revision. So I was given them to take them through. That's how I entered into the lecturing field. And then that time I started being a freelance tax consultant. So during my freelance tax consultant, that's why I met with a client who was running a car hire business. And I was to stay in his office for like 2 to 3 weeks because he had issues with KRA. And I wanted to dig deep and know, how can we handle this? How will we sort out this? So during that time, I was in his office trying to understand, because there was a lot of paperwork. How have you been filing your records? How have you been doing all this? I realized that the demand for car hire was very high compared to supply, because you could find in a day like 10-20 people want cars, but he didn't have enough. And they try going round and round looking for vehicles. They tell, we are calling this place Hakuna, you call this place this, you call this place. So I'm like, this is an opportunity.
Right here. Well, but you were sitting in that office for that period, and you sort of listening to the conversations they're having around the office. They're trying to source for a car. You're like,
because I could also help serve them, because it was an open office like this studio. So I was seated in one corner. Sometimes I could wake up, come sit down and help them serve the client. So even explaining to them, we do not have a car, there is a car that is coming at 2. That's Wangeshi for you.
You didn't even have to do that, isn't it?
I didn't have to, but my interest and that thing to know more, these clients, they need a lot of vehicles, but we don't have vehicles. So I had to start with the owner. I asked him, why don't you get more vehicles? Why don't you develop a very good system? Because there's a lot of paperwork. And then there are so many risks involved. And I told him, this is a business I'll do in future. And he told me, Wangeshi, never ever
Never try.
dare.
Never try.
Never try, because you will die. Die, why? He told me stress, or you'll be arrested, or you will. He told me so many things. I just smiled at that very time. I smiled and I
Did
knew.
not put you off completely?
No,
So hold on. So you were in that office, but you're like, yes, I'm assessing the business opportunity right here.
Yeah. That's why I tell people, Simba, wherever you go, just keep looking around. Look around. You may see something and see, yeah, this is something I can do.
That's it.
Opportunities present themselves to you, but if you don't open your inner eye to see what's happening around, nobody will do it for you.
Yeah.
So it is you to open up your eyes, see the environment around, see what can I get out of this, what can I do, and convert it into some money. That's the kind of a person I am. Wherever I go,
Yeah.
mahali popote I go, I will come out with something. Trust me.
Is it out of your environment or just how you were essentially brought up? I say your foster parent, especially your foster dad, it's got a very big influence on you. Would you
Yeah,
say
he
that?
had a very big
Yeah.
influence on me.
Yeah.
Because I see sometimes the background can mold you to be the person you are.
Does it?
And sometimes I always tell people the background is not the one that determines the person you'll be, but it is you to decide the kind of a person you want to be and what you want to have in future.
Does it?
It is you. It all lies in you. So my foster dad used to tell me a lot. And you see, even as people who have parents, your parents tells you a lot. Every day in, day out. The people who are around you talk to you a lot. But at the end of the day, to them, those are just comments. It's you to make a decision. Say, I can pick this. This one who tell me, this is the kind of life I want. This is what it is you. Nobody will ever shape it for you. Even our kids, we tell them a lot. But at the end of the day, they will sit down and decide what they want.
That's the direction I want to take.
Yes.
Isn't it? Would you say that in your upbringing, in your growth, going to school, in your career steps, you were given this space to experiment,
Yeah.
which essentially then grew you to this person who kept on looking?
Yes, exactly. Because, you know, I talked to foster parents. By the time they adopted me, I had just completed class 8.
Okay.
So my background was very shaky, actually. I cannot say I had, you brought up by a drunkard dad, a very hardworking mom, but she does not have enough money to give you exactly what you want.
Yeah.
So from it, you learn and you like, I want to be very hardworking like my mother. Regardless of how my dad was, my mom was there. And she made sure in the evening, every day you have food on the table, regardless of whatever the work she was doing. Yes, she was very hardworking, actually. But you see now, even when I was completing class 8, after being the best in Kirinyaga, they didn't have money to take me to school. But that didn't stop me. Inside me, I knew I will be that great person. And I will still get that what I want, and I will help many people. That what was driving me.
Oh yeah.
Every day I wake up, I'm like, there is that thing I want.
That I really want.
Regardless of how my background is.
Yes.
That was made me move from Kirinyaga to Nairobi, looking for a job.
By yourself?
By myself. I came with a far relative.
Yeah.
I came, and now you see where God directed me to people who adopted me as their kid. Because they could see there is something that girl has.
Oh, like this girl is got something.
Because when
but
you
in
sit
a-
down,
yeah.
have a conversation, you can tell this person will go far. It is only that the situation she was in couldn't support what she wanted.
Okay.
So they decide we will work with her. That's how I ended up going to school, high school, and
That's it. And then you got yourself in a
Yeah.
taxation environment. Good.
Yeah.
Let's pick up that story then, because I want us to build all the way to now bright steps. Good. So you're in that office, you're doing your tax issues, you're listening in to the issues this guy's gone through, up to the point he tells you, why did you usijaribu?
Usijaribu, don't you dare.
This is-
I remember him using those words, don't you even dare.
This is fire.
But I know
Yeah.
he meant it, and he was sincere when he was saying that. Not
you
that
could-
he was fearing competition. It's because he knew what he was going
And
through.
you could say that from his
I
financials,
could
isn't it?
see, because today he's telling you, I'm going to court. There's a RAV4 that was stolen. Said you, I'm doing what? So I could see. But I was just smiling. I'm like, this one, I can do it. Yes.
Wait, just before you pick up on that story, it is odd for you to sit there as a tax expert and say, I want to get into car business, I can do this.
Yes.
It's because you saw the problems that was going through, and essentially as a tax consultant, your mind just picks on, I can solve it.
Actually, I saw
can
a
get it.
gap,
Yeah.
as you're saying.
Yeah.
I saw a gap. Because, you see, people want this thing and you don't have. Economics, we talk of demand and supply,
supply,
the
yeah.
market forces. You see that the supply is very little compared to the demand. So what does that tell you? This is a gap. Even if I come up with my car hire, still you may not feed this demand. And I proved that because one day when my sister was doing a wedding, I wanted a car. I'm the one who had promised them a car. But then I didn't have a car myself. I wanted to hire. That time, the friend, my friend whom who consulted from me, he didn't have a car. All the cars were booked. So what would I have done? Start looking online. You see this company, you call, we don't have a car. You see, you know, I got a car at 12 at night, and the wedding is tomorrow, 12 midnight. And the one who I got the car, it was his car. And he told me, I cannot give it to you. I have to drive it myself. So he had to come and take us there. And I'm like, what is this?
What is this?
I have to
There's a
start
gap
my
here,
car
isn't
hire
it?
one day.
Yeah.
So I started my car hire with one car, the car that I had acquired through my consultancy services.
You know that story they say. You know, I started my consulting company with just one pen.
You know, they tell us as motivational speakers, we say things which are very unrealistic. But for me, honestly speaking, I started with one car.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's a good thing you didn't
before
say started with one tire.
What I
Anyway,
want to
yeah.
tell entrepreneurs,
Yes.
before I started, even after I saw the demand, I had to do a lot of research.
A lot of research into it, yeah.
I had to do a lot of research.
Yeah.
And from the companies I approached, the ones which were trying to do car hire, you could find it is 2-3 years the company collapses. Others do not have an office. It's roadside. They are there, you are called, you have a car, yes. Where? Wacha tupatane petrol station. He comes, gives you the car, you sign a paper, goes with the car. And I'm like, apana. If I do it professionally, I will get it right. So that's why I had to set up an office. I sat down with a system developer, and I always salute him, Saimo, wherever you are.
Saimo, we are watching. Thank you very much.
We sat down with him from the scratch, told him, I want where a customer comes, I'm able to register his details, starting from the name, ID number, residence, nini. So we started from the scratch. And we developed a very good system.
Yes.
And because I had not started, we tried selling it to my client, the one I told you was running the car hire.
You're like, I know what you're going through,
Yeah.
but this system is going to help you.
But he refused. He
Hold
said,
on.
no, with system I'll be stolen, I will do this and this and this. He didn't see the point. So, and because we had already developed it with Simon, and I didn't have money, so we were trying to sell it so that he can get money
his pay,
to
isn't
pay
it?
himself. I told him, don't worry, Simon, I will pay for this system, and I will pay for it slowly by slowly. Just give me time, and I will run car hire one day. So you see that system now, I remembered it when I decided now it's the time. I called him, we came down, looked at it, added some few things here and there, and Wangeshi was there.
What was the time frame between you telling Saimo to develop a system? Because I think you wanted to sell it to your client, and you essentially calling him back again, telling him, okay,
System,
now
it took us, I remember we sat with him for almost a month. 2 weeks we were sitting every day, but then the other 2 weeks he was working on it here and there. And then after that, because I didn't have money and the client has refused, I told him, I took a very small office and we locked the system there, the computer,
the
CPU
computer
and
that has
everything.
the system and everything.
So I told him, once I get 10,000, I give to Saimo. I get 20,000, I give to
keep
him.
on,
So after like 6 or 7 months, that's when I started.
Whoa, that's a long period, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know Saimo was like, ile pesa nilifanyia ile kazi.
But I thank God he came my way, because from there now all my businesses, he has developed systems for me. And I've also given him so many clients. The ones I go to see as a tax consultant, they don't have a system, I call him. There's some work here. So he knows it, he paid, even if I paid kidogo kidogo. Yes.
That's it.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. I want us to take a tiny breather right now. Once we come back then, we're going to now talk about Bright Steps.
Yeah.
how you grew it, how you started,
Yeah.
the steps you've been making over time, how many years it has been since development up to where you are right now as a leading car hire company within the city, I would say. So once we come back, we're still with her, Bright Steps CEO, just talking about how she started, and guess this is not my words, started her big car hire company with one car. You see, whatever motivational speakers tell you, her story is real, it's not a lie. That's what she's saying. Once we come back, we're going to learn about Bright Steps, come back and talk about it, come and talk about exactly what market it's trying to fill. And for those of you who don't know, you can actually go to the website. It's at brightstepscarhire.co.uk. Have a look at it, talk about the system, what is essentially makes a step away from what we have in the market, and just talk about car hire business, what she's learned over time. Remember, she was told, ukiingia huko utakufa utashikwa. All right, once we come back.